Hello everybody! I hope the title didn't scare you too much, but it is true. I will be disappearing off the main channel for just a little while. Of course, before I say that too, any work in progress videos I will be uploading onto the side channel, whatever that comes, but more on that later. Before I do all of that though, I want to give you guys an update video like this. I've just been up to a lot of stuff in my personal life. I got my own life, and responsibilities come with it, of course. And all the stuff I do online really is all just a hobby. I love doing what I do, though, but, of course, I do get swept up in the currents of just day-to-day life. It does get in the way with making videos, especially because my work has improved over the years. It became more ambitious, and naturally, videos over time became much slower to, produce, if that makes sense. I've always been making videos with, a go-to-the-flow workflow, where when I get ideas, I'll either latch onto them really hard and see them, to the finish, or they'll just kind of, be left at the unfinished work-in-progress state, which are most of my videos that are on my side channel nowadays. It really depends if I'm particularly invested in a specific idea, but it's kind of random. And of course, to be fair, I'm sure this random upload schedule I release stuff isn't really good for, YouTube algorithm numbers. I don't know. I'm not sure how many of you guys actually see my videos in passing anymore, especially because of the way I upload stuff. I know that apparently there's, a big algorithm way to do it, but honestly, I don't care. I'm too stupid for that stuff. The numbers have always not really been that big of a deal, but I don't know. I know, YouTube is a very distinct landscape, especially for people that make, animations, and, I don't upload every day. I don't do stuff every day. I don't know. That's a whole can of worms. A lot of you people already know about the whole spiel about that type of stuff. Ultimately, I just do what I make for fun, and it just makes me happy. Before I get way too sidetracked, with all that being said, ultimately, when I get swept up in just my regular life, it gets a lot harder to get in the zone, kind of, so to speak, where I'm motivated and able to focus on more ambitious stuff. Doing the channel and, doing my animations plus a bunch of side projects, it kind of makes me a little all over the place when it comes to, the channel, my life, and, my other hobby stuff, and, my regular artwork. And especially when the side projects become bigger and bigger, and this said side project that I'm about to tell you guys about has become something of, my main focus. So I suppose it's time to formally announce to you guys that I am working on a visual novel. I've been saying things briefly on, the community page and, the description on... the description on stuff, on, some of my videos, but, yeah, I'm making a visual novel. It's called Mischief Chapter 0. Chapter 0 specifically because this is the prologue to the much larger story that is Mischief, where Mischief is the story surrounded with Gracie, how Mischief Gracie comes to be, and their whole deal with, finding their place in the world as, the first of their kind as a pair, dream monster and host, where, the dream monster race is what Mischief Gracie is, and there's a whole, page that I have on their species, and Gracie and Mischief Gracie are kind of the first of their kind, and where they fit in this giant, dream monster war between two big factions. But the prologue, which is Chapter 0, focuses around Gracie and Roger. Roger has become a big part of this channel, over the years, and his relationship with Gracie subsequently is what starts the snowball effect to Mischief Gracie's creation. But to get to that point, you have to get first to, Gracie and Roger. And chapter 0 is specifically focusing on Gracie finding herself recovering after a big attack on her hometown, Conordus. I don't know if I'll change the name or not. It may stay the same. A big attack by the Zadok Dream Monster faction, which is the faction of dream monsters with their goal of eliminating as many people in Untergan, which is the continent that they live in, the country, eliminating as many people as possible to then cement themselves onto the country and overtake it, essentially. They do these big invasions, and Gracie's hometown is subjected to one of these. She tries to help, and she gets injured. And then, of course, Roger, by timing, he wanted to go into Conortus, downtown Conortus, to, visit a specific coffee shop. He wanted to go outside, for lack of a better word, go outside and, check out the local town, since he lives on the outskirts of town, and he's a little bit of a hermit. He doesn't really have any friends, he doesn't really talk to anybody. So he wanted to go out, and of course he enters the town right at the aftermath where the Zadok Dream Monsters have since dispersed. They are no longer in town, and what's left is the town trying to recover with the sense of death looming over. And from there, he finds Gracie, bleeding out on the ground, basically like on death's door. And Gracie finds herself waking up in Roger's house. And the visual novel focuses on their relationship, quote-unquote relationship. How, their friendship, develops, and the complex nature of Gracie recovering and being in a new environment and basically finding herself and figuring out what to do next after experiencing such a deep, traumatic event. Feeling a little lost in life. And on Roger's end, being with somebody and caretaking somebody that he finds attractive and he wants possibly to make something more with. So these two conflicting, things where their friendship might turn sour. So the visual novel I've been working on specifically for the last year, Mischief as a concept was originally going to be a comic. And Mischief as a story as a whole, I've been working on since 2016. Roger's been a character since that long. Although he's changed a lot over the years. He used to be a vampire. He's not one anymore. But, this story, I originally wanted to make a comic series similar to the old series that I did called The Strength of 4, which also was completely discarded now because it falls under this, Mischief universe, but it's way in the future. But, anyway. It was originally going to be a comic, but, surprisingly, during a shower thought, I was like, what if I made it a visual novel? And so I started working on the script. Once I finished the script, which was recently actually, because I had developed it and I have been proofreading and adjusting it since August of 2023, I finished it as of July 2024, and I am working on the visual novel aspect of it now. I do have playable versions of it. I've been working with Ren'Py. Ren'Py is a classic. It's one of the best, easy ways to get adjusted into making something like a visual novel. It's based in, Python, hence the name. A lot of visual novels are based off of Ren'Py. Doki Doki Literature Club, the original version is off of Ren'Py, and that game alone shows how versatile that program is. Or, well, whatever. But I decided to work with Ren'Py, and It's basically a one-man band. I'm working on this all by myself. I've had some of my friends, of course. They've helped proofread. But for the most part, I've been shouldering this on my own. And I've been working on it on the side, but now I want to work on it completely in, like, full focus when I'm not working, basically. So, you know, when I have my free time, I'd like to dedicate it to the visual novel now. I am working on it on the visuals. I'm doing that on my own. Music, I actually am going to be getting somebody to assist me with. But I don't have any, you know, I don't have any announcements regarding music quite yet. But yeah, there's going to be animated sections. It's a kinetic visual novel, which means there is one ending because this is a prologue. How I'm going to structure this specifically is pretty much I'm going to be constructing it where I'm going to be posting the prologue. I'm going to be, hopefully, I would like to upload this on Steam and release this on Steam. It will be a free game. It's likely going to be an hour and a half maybe in length. It's not going to be very long, and kinetic visual novel means there's just one ending. So there'll be one specific ending. There will be choices and interactivity, you know, cutscenes in the middle of it, and, you know, an intro and outro cutscene. I'm basically, you know, going all out. There's going to be a lot of, like, really nice CGs. I am currently sketching out all of the sprites and, you know, CGs and stuff like that. And I'm trying to do this by myself so I have as concrete as a vision. Like, I can present to you guys the most, like, accurate to my original vision as possible, which is also why I want it to be free. I don't want to charge something for something like this, especially because this is, like, such a, like, experimental project for me, where, you know, it can turn out great. It could also be really bad. That's okay. If you guys end up hating it, that's fine. You know, I'm working on it, and I'm working with, you know, I'm doing what I want to do, and, you know, it's a total passion project, and, you know, why not put it for free on Steam? You guys can experience a passion project of mine where Chapter 0 as well serves as a open and closed story contained in a bigger story, where you can play the prologue and you can feel kind of satisfied, where there's not too many cliffhangers, but obviously there's going to be with, you know, what happens to Roger, what happens to Gracie. But it's still enough where if I decided to not proceed with the other chapters, you know, I can wipe my hands clean of it. It depends on the reception. If people really enjoy it, then I will consider making more of them. Perhaps even if it becomes a way more ambitious project, getting more people involved. You know, there's going to be voice acting in it as well. So, you know, there's a lot going into this. I don't have a concrete release date, obviously. In terms of things like that, you know, that will come obviously with time. I don't know if I should release. I've been debating for a while, and I'm just going to put it in here. If anybody's been listening to this, I've been recording for 13 minutes now. You know, listen to it if you want. If you're at this point, hi. But I'm not sure if I want to make a Patreon or not. I have debated on it a few times, but I'm not sure. My audience isn't very, like, you guys aren't a huge fan base. I'm not a huge YouTube channel. So, like, I don't know if it's, like, appropriate to make a Patreon. I don't know. If I did make one, it would be really cheap. Like, I don't know. It's hard. But if you guys would think something like that, like, would you want to support me through a Patreon, possibly for visual novel work, and see updates through that? I don't know. It really all depends. But, you know, let me know what you think, if you're, you know, listening up to this point. Let me know what you think, if that's a good idea or not. What possible other incentives there could be for something like a Patreon. What would you want to see from me if I did make a Patreon? And things like that. Overall though, what does this mean for the channel? This basically just means that videos are going to be much less frequent. I may still, of course, like, because making videos and making silly little animations is kind of a way for me to unwind at times, I may still make some, but I'm going to be focusing as much as I can now on the visual novel. I'm gonna still also be drawing, like, regular drawings are still gonna be posted in their usual spots. My website's still gonna be updated, my website gallery, you know, Instagram and Fur Affinity and Pixiv are the three main places. Oh, and Tumblr, duh. So Tumblr, Instagram, Fur Affinity, Pixiv, those 4 places are where I post my artwork. Sorry, I don't post on Twitter. Or X, sorry. I don't post on X. I don't know. I might. It's all, I don't know. I do also have a TikTok where I post mirrors of my videos on YouTube, but with the lack of videos that are going to be coming out, sorry for the yawning, I'm recording this late at night. With the lack of videos, I don't know if that's gonna be very active. My side channel, of course, will have the usual, if I make a work in progress video, they'll be posted there. And of course, just ultimately, updates regarding the visual novel will come as my certain milestones are reached. And of course, once I complete the visual novel, I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna be parading that. I'm gonna be flagging, waving that flag as much as I can, and feel proud of myself for a little while, and then go back to business as usual, just posting animations like I was before. But overall, that was a long-winded update. Originally, I had this a little scripted, but now it's become a little more of a rambler. It's 17 minutes, 17 seconds now from this of me recording. So if you've been listening to all of this, thank you. I hope you're excited as much as I am for this to be worked on. Smaller updates will probably be posted on things like Instagram, where, like, you know, making Instagram stories is way easier to do. And let me know. I'll probably timestamp some things in the description where certain questions I want you guys to pay attention to will be in there. Let me know if you think a Patreon is appropriate, and what you might want to see if I did make one, because I want to be transparent with you guys and genuinely, like, get your guys' feedback, especially for something like this. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm finally taking the big step and putting forth my passion project, and I'm sure you Roger fans are gonna be very pleased. Sort of. Roger's an interesting character, I'll tell you guys that much. He's a can of worms. Metaphorically, not literally. He's not full of worms. That was a stupid joke. Anyway, Roger fans, you're gonna love this. If you are a Roger fan. The few that are out there. But, yeah. That's the update video. You know, thanks for listening to me blab yet again. And, of course, let me know. And, yeah. It's always confusing, figuring out how to end these things when it comes to something so open-ended. But, like I said, updates will come. And thank you for listening, and thank you for not so much watching, because there's not going to be too many visuals. But yeah, toodles.